Hello and welcome to the Arsenal BiteSize Podcast. I'm your host Clayton at ClaytonsAFC on Twitter, joined by my co-host at FPL Nima. How you doing?
Yeah, good man. Happy Friday to all the gooners out there.
Happy
Excited
Friday.
for the big game.
Are we gonna? Can this potentially be a 2-minute episode? Or are we just predicting another 4-0, 5-0, 6-0?
It's starting to feel like we're predicting some obscene scores. I don't quite know how I feel about this one. I am pretty confident, but I do feel that maybe the clean sheet is a bit on the line. But I know we'll get
Okay,
there when we kind of
sure.
predict the lineups and look at obviously Brentford's last game's lineup and what we think tactically is going to happen. But yeah, I think it's going to be a short and sweet one this morning, Clayton. I think maybe like 15, 20 minutes. And we just seem to be predicting to win every week. But I think we need to calm down and take it one game at a time. 11 league games to go.
Yeah,
This
I
is
agree
it,
with the
man.
one game at a time thing. Like a lot of the, so I've got a lot of friends that are Tottenham fans. I've got friends that are Liverpool fans. I thankfully don't have any friends that are City fans, but the general conversations around amongst my friends who are all football fans is talking about the title race, and I'm like, I refuse to get drawn into it because this weekend the landscape could change. The result, because obviously Liverpool play City, the result when we go to the Etihad can dictate stuff. Like all three of us have to go to Tottenham. Like there's just going to be so many. As much as I've said, Liverpool have a good run. City, once they get through this block of 3 or 4, they have a good run. It like there'll be twists and turns. So I think you're right. It's just a case of like just play the game in front of you and take it from there. Just Arteta talks about stuff within our control all the time, right? Like just deal with the stuff in our control and then take it from there. And something you said on, I can't remember if it was the Sheffield United review or preview pod, but just like enjoy it as well, because you find
Mm.
yourself like you get to the end of the season, you might not have won anything, and then all of this has been for nothing. Like we're watching the best Arsenal team we've probably seen in our lifetime since the Invincibles, right? So yeah, just enjoy it.
Totally. Yeah, no, totally agree. Like right now, I think we're only 2 goal difference off the Invincibles goal difference. So
Jesus.
like we're on 45. I think they finished on 47. I know last season obviously we scored more than the Invincibles scored, and ultimately I know we didn't win anything, but I think last season was very emotional. I feel
Yeah.
like every week it felt like we were down to the last minute, down to the wire, getting these wins, scraping over the line. I think it took a toll on me, the players,
Oh, it took a toll on me
everyone.
as well. Yeah, like I
It really took
enjoyed
a
that
toll on
break in
me.
the summer from, especially because I'm like, don't get me wrong, I'm very fortunate and grateful to physically be able to go every week, but it takes its toll. Like you've seen what it's like when you go to the odd games and stuff. It's very emotionally taxing. So yeah, but hopefully this one won't be. So Brentford preview. So lineup against Sheffield United was Raya in goal, who obviously is I always struggle with this word, ineligible to play because of his loan. So back four was White, Saliba, Gabriel, Kivior. Midfield three, Jorginho, Odegaard, Rice. Front three was Saka, Havertz, Martinelli. The one obvious change will be Ramsdale comes in goal. Other than that, are you expecting anything? Does Porto on Tuesday impact your lineup prediction? What are you going for this game?
Yeah, that's a really good question, actually.
Sorry, just before you answer, let's just shout out a couple of the guys in the chat. Morning, Bungle. Yes, lads, it's Friday. I thought it was going to be that. It's Friday then.
Yeah, no, I
uh,
think he's just saying that it's Friday in Tokyo.
yeah.
I'm here with my
And
coffee, and he's probably like having a beer,
he's
maybe.
probably having a beer, nice Asahi or something. Marsh is in. Morning, all morning, mate. Cheers for joining. Yeah, predicted lineups. Where's your head at?
Yeah, so it's a good question because it's 5:30 on the Saturday. Obviously, we don't play till the Tuesday night.
It's only
I
two
just,
days rest, basically.
yeah,
Well,
essentially there's rest,
two and
but
a
then it's
half.
like I don't know how many of these guys are then going to go to like because they obviously then miss the next weekend because of the Chelsea game, right? So there's like a
Ah,
huge gap
good point.
until March 31st. Like I know they've got international duties and stuff, but even the first international game, it must be at least a week after Tuesday because there's still Premier League games next weekend and then the 2 week break starts. So it's kind of like in my mind, I'm like, okay, wait a second, like
That's a good
could
point.
they just all play like both
So the one
games?
player I'm confident won't be able to start both games at least is Jorginho, and that's why I'm not
Okay,
sure.
that I totally agree with. But I
y-
also don't feel that like say Thomas Partey, I don't feel he's ready to start a game, and I don't think he will start against Porto. So
Who
unless I'm
Party?
like be yeah, so unless I'm
Same.
being like maybe too pessimistic there, my view is that like he would get another 20, 30 minutes in this game, and then that would be enough to maybe get another 20, 30 minutes against Porto. I just still feel like they're all going to be like
I agree.
slowly prepped. Like no one needs to be
Artie's
rushed. They've got to
cameo
break.
pulled up any trees either. He looked
Yeah,
rusty.
man. Yeah, he did look
Which is to
rusty,
be
my lord.
expected.
Like I expected he's not played since October or whatever, but my God, it reminded me how much I love him and hate him at the same time because I love him for the like dynamism and the way he finds those line breaking passes. He just the urgency with which the guy moves forward. It's like when they talk about Kante like can cover the whole earth or something because of how
Yeah.
much he runs.
It's like
It
Party will
reminds me a
pass it
bit
across
like
Earth.
that. Yeah, he just pass it across the world. But then there's these moments where like he'll get it, and then like just the way he was rusty, I was like, no, this is scary, man. Like I
Yeah.
remember a few times when these passes didn't make it to the destination, and it led
Yeah.
to a
It's all right.
counter-attacking goal.
Yeah, it's to be
But yeah,
expected.
so
But yeah,
because
what
of
are you
that,
going
I
with for
don't.
this one?
This is the thing because I think that means if Jorginho's rested for this, if I go with my logic that I think Jorginho starts Porto, then I think he's rested this weekend, and he'll start against Porto, right?
That's what I
But
think.
then who
So
takes his place?
okay.
Because the only other alternative I can think of is that you would move Havertz back into left centre mid and you put Jesus up top. But then again, is Jesus ready? So it's kind of like, does Jesus also need to be slowly put in like
So
Party?
I'm confident in my prediction. Should I tell you mine?
Yeah, go for it, because I'm
So
very lost.
okay, fair play. So yeah, I think it will be Ramsdale, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Kivior. I think it will be Rice, Odegaard, Havertz midfield, and I think Trossard will come back in, and it will be Saka, Trossard, Martinelli. And just quickly, by the way, on Saka, Martinelli, I did have the quotes here because obviously Martinelli went off with a cut on Monday, and Saka apparently was ill. Arteta said we got some
Right.
players back last Monday, and then we had Martinelli and Bukayo Saka with little issues, but we're pretty positive that hopefully they can be part of that, but we'll have to wait and see how they are tomorrow. But I'm confident they'll start. But yeah, my TLDR is I think Jorginho will drop out of the team, and I think Trossard will come back in, and Havertz will start in that left eight. But as we've seen, like I think it will be positionally fluid with Havertz and Trossard interchanging, and that's with Marsha said similar as well in the chat. By the way, thought the same on Jorginho. So fancy Jorginho to be rested this weekend and play against Porto, given the game state. Yeah, completely agree. I think the Porto team will be the same as Sheffield United on Monday and Newcastle. And I still think Jesus Party, they'll get sub appearances to build them up, but give them the full international break so that even that City team, that team that goes to City right now, I think I can predict it. I think it will be the same team again against Newcastle. I don't think Jesus will
Yeah.
start that. I don't think Party will start that. I think
I
he's going
just
to
don't
look
see
to.
how any of them can start because, like, I think we said it in the last episode, right? We kind of viewed them as when they come back, like they're our first 11 players. We're going to have the full strength 11. Since then, football changed, time changed. Like these other players came and staked their places. I would go as far as to say that the others now need to win their places back if they want to start again.
Yeah.
Like,
And I think it's just a case of just keep players of that ability on the bench as like firing off the bench options. Like use their quality to manage game state. Use them to maximize freshness of people in this air quote starting 11. So I think it's a great position to be in. But yeah, that for what it's worth, that's my predicted 11. Same team that went to I think it was West Ham and Burnley that started that.
yeah, honestly, like, and
Apart
this is
from
the
Raya and
team.
Ramsdale.
Yeah, of course. And I think that's the one thing when we talk about kind of what does it mean when Ramsdale starts, because that's the one thing, right? It will be his first start since January in the cup against Liverpool, so that's like over 2 months now, nearly 3 months, and it seems that it will maybe be the last time we see him play
Yeah, good
at
point.
Arsenal.
Oh, that's quite
Like
sad.
so yeah, so part of me kind of I'm a bit gutted I don't have a ticket for tomorrow because I almost feel like I think the fans are going to send him off, but then
Yeah.
equally that makes me think if someone's not played for that long, what is the opposition going to be thinking? Like, what are they going to be doing to target him? Like, Ivan Tony
They'll press in a certain way.
he is a very tricky customer. We know, like, he is a tough guy to deal with, and we have not a rivalry, but it's still a London derby, and we have a bit of banter with them. Obviously the
Yeah,
kick
I'd
about with
describe it
my
as
boys.
banter more than a rivalry, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's a London derby with some
They're an
banter. I wouldn't go as
annoying
far as
piece of
rivalry.
shit on our shoe, basically. Like,
It's when Gabriel sent that tweet about the nice kick about my boys. I just feel like these guys, like, they're winners. Like,
yeah,
I'm just kind of slowly putting two and two together, hearing what they're saying in interviews, seeing how focused they are on one game at a time, seeing Arteta. I don't know if you saw the quotes about like what he thought about the Man City Liverpool game and
I
what
saw
he was
his
just at. He was like, I just want to enjoy watching it. I don't really care.
Yeah,
We just got to focus on
they're very
ourselves. I think that's the
confident in their
important
own
thing.
ability. Yeah, but yeah,
And
come
I've
on,
not
stop
seen them
waffling.
like this.
What's your predicted 11?
No. So that my 11 was my 11 was Jesus in and Havertz at left centre mid, but I don't know
Oh,
why.
damn. Okay, no,
Yeah,
fair play.
because something about Jesus just makes me feel like he's that kind of guy who's, the teacher's pet sitting on the side of the
Sure.
classroom, like whispering in his ear, like, "Come on, man! Like, I'm the one who even made them believe they can fight for titles.
Yeah.
How can you
Okay.
not start me? Let me go and show Ivan Tony that he's a bum." Like, I'm sure
Okay.
he's just
Interesting.
whispering like devil's advocate in Arteta's ear, man.
Fair play. All right, nice one. Yeah, I rate
But that's
that.
the going out on a limb. That is going out on a
No,
limb.
but
That
if it's
one.
what you think, then yeah,
It's
fair play.
genuinely what I think. Yeah, like for some reason, I love Trossard. I just think that if he comes in, it will be at left centre mid this game, or for
Sure.
Martinelli if he's not quite ready.
Okay, sure. Do you think I've asked this a few times the last few weeks? Any chance Smith Rowe gets a start, or not really in this one?
This was the one game we said he might, right? Like at
Yeah,
home, Smith Rowe in the kind of left eight. I don't think he does. I'm sorry. I
yeah,
just don't
me
think he
either.
does. I
I
don't know
think he'll
where
get
he's going to
minutes
get
off
his
the bench
minutes.
in this one, though.
Yeah, like off the bench, I hope he does this time. But then
Yeah,
you got like Fabio Vieira fighting. Like this is we're in the first time this season in this healthy situation where like we're like, wow, like, okay, well, if Trossard starts, and that means Jesus doesn't start, that
yeah.
means Jorginho doesn't start. There's so many players coming back. The defenders, though, I'm a bit keen to like see where they are because, like, I
He
still want to
didn't
see
say anything
Tomiyasu. I
about
still want
them.
to see Zinchenko.
Yeah, like we
Yeah.
were told, I think before Sheffield United, he said like, yeah, they're close. We'll have to assess it. But then obviously neither of them were in the squad. We know Timber won't be until after the international break anyway, if that. But yeah, he didn't say anything in his presser for the Brentford game about Zinchenko Tomiyasu. So that'll be interesting to see. Like
Mm.
we're kind of speculating in the dark there. I don't really have any real information to comment. But
Yeah,
hopefully,
hopefully they're back.
training.
Yeah, hopefully they're
Yeah,
back soon. Because I could do with like imagine like Zinchenko subs on against Porto to close out the game and kill them with like
exactly.
possession and
300,000
passing.
passes. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice to have these different options and unpredictable setups again for the rest of the season.
100%. Yeah. Just looking at the Brentford team that drew 2-2 against Chelsea, it was Flecken in goal, back three. Obviously, they're riddled by injuries at the back at the minute. So back three, well, back five, I guess, was Roeslov, George Jensen, Ayer, Collins, and Region. Midfield three of Janel, Norgard, and Onyeka. And up top, obviously, Ivan, Tony, and Wissa. And when I say they're riddled with injuries, obviously, especially at the back, they're without Hickey, Ben Mee, Pinnock. Rico Henry, obviously up top, and Buemo's not been there for a while. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's one of those. Like you did mention about potentially being nervous about the clean sheet, and like it's something worthwhile mentioning. They have scored 7 in their last 5 matches, so they are scoring pretty consistently. But at the other end of the pitch, they're 17th in goals conceded per match this season. They're sat 15th in the table. I think they're quietly been not they're not sleepwalking into a relegation fight, but I don't think they're completely safe and in the clear. So with that in mind, where are you going for your score prediction?
Hmm. Yeah, no, I feel that they are very poor defensively in recent times. I was thinking like a 3-1 type of game. I guess that's where I was saying I think they score and we don't get the clean sheet. I don't know how you're feeling. What are you thinking?
I think very similar, 3 or 4-1, and I think that so obviously we've seen as a team and a unit, we don't really give away high quality chances anymore, right? But I think there will be slight differences in this game where it sounds like I'm blaming him and it's not that, but because Ramsdale was in goal, whenever we're under pressure and Raya is in goal, he's got the ability to put his foot on the ball and just slow it and find another short pass. There's been games, even in the cup game against Liverpool, Ramsdale sometimes when he gets nervous, he just hoofs it. And I think we'll
Hmm.
still control this game very comfortably. I still think we'll play in their third a lot of the game. I think we'll counter press and win it. But I think as a result, the knock-on impact of Ramsdale being in goal, I think there will be the odd period in this game where it becomes a little bit more chaotic than we would like. And that obviously breeds opportunity for vulnerability, you're right. And I think they've got quality in Visser and Tony Region if he gets pushes on and can put crosses in. So
I think
Unfortunately, I
he's
think
made
we
a
can
big
see.
difference to them. Yeah, he's made a difference, I think, with his kind of delivery into the box. It's giving them a new
Yeah,
option that they were missing with, obviously, Rico Henry was injured, like, as you say, Tony's been out most of the season, but Wemo's now been out, like, Raya left. So it's like that entire right-hand side of Brentford's team that was what made them so great last season just got stripped out of the spine. And I don't think they found their feet since. I don't know if it's
yeah,
just me. Also, their entire back line is injured right now, from my understanding, that all four of the back
yeah.
line.
That's what I just said. Yeah,
Yeah. So like that's just crazy. But the one, the data you mentioned, so like over the course of the season you mentioned, but I think what it was that I was seeing, and I've just checked it on like some Opta stats, is for expected goals conceded over the last 7 matches, Brentford are bottom in the league. So for the last seven
damn,
matches, they've been expected to concede 15.8 goals. West Ham and Sheffield United and
bloody
Luton, and the
yeah.
next one's just below them. In terms of actual goals conceded, they've conceded 19 from that 15.8 expected goals conceded.
And you look at
They
us
are
on,
honestly in a really bad place.
and you look
Us.
at us on the other end, like we're
So
firing.
we've
Yeah,
conceded a XG of 2 in the last 7 games, compared to their 15.8. Jesus, that
yeah. I
is
think it's more.
crazy.
I hear those stats about them defensively, and I think of us going forward. Like, yeah, and this way we'll read out a couple of the guys in the chat. Their score predictions. Bungle's gone 3-1. My mate Lee Hammond's in. Cheers for joining, mate. I think this is the first time he's joined live. 5-1 to the Arsenal. Paul Tierney on VAR forgets to draw the lines for their goal.
I can't argue with that. Good to see you, Lee. Thanks for tuning in, buddy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that
yeah,
is hilarious. Yeah, Paul Tierney, what do you think about that? I know
that's
we're pretty
fucking
much at
bollocks, isn't
time,
it?
but what do you
Like,
think about that?
you can't get like if this is their idea of someone getting penalized. Like, yeah, sure, you can't ref a game, but you're inadvertently refing a game just from a TV studio. Like, it's such bullshit. I
So
just hope like
what I didn't, yeah, I was gonna say what I didn't understand is they said that like they're adamant that this isn't a punishment, but I think the
yeah.
media are calling it that he's been dropped, and they're like, no, 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 he's not been dropped. Like we didn't say that, so they're
To
trying to
be
make it out like, oh, nothing's actually happened. We just moved his role.
I do think like I would need to check this, but I do think refs do get rotated around. To be fair, in terms
They
of I
do,
do,
yeah. And I
yeah.
think the
So it could
media
just
just ran with it.
yeah.
They were like
I think I've
sensationalized
bought into
headline.
that narrative as well. To be fair, so
No,
like I need to
I
get my
did as
facts straight.
well. I did as well because it's funny because the next meme is that when he screws us over, then he'll get relegated to the championship game the weekend after. So how many steps down can he get dropped
Yeah,
before he's fired completely? No, these people pissed me off. Wasn't it? Who was it who didn't draw the lines against Brentford last year? Was it the guy who literally Lee Mason? Was it him? And he got sacked
I'm
because of
useless with referee names. I just know it was against us, and it was fucking bullshit.
maybe someone in the chat knows. Wait for Brentford
Just
versus.
separate to that, Marsha said, doesn't make sense from their point of view either. A ref that's clearly struggling being put into probably the most scrutinized current position in VAR. So true. Like, it doesn't make
Yeah,
any
it just
sense.
shows the lack of like just
Yeah.
any
I
kind of
just hope,
common sense from them.
like, I just hope it gets to a stage where we are so dominant that we don't need to talk about it. Like, even I said on Planet FPL this week, like, in the Newcastle game, we were so dominant that all of us have forgotten about Kai Havertz's one-on-one miss, right? Like, the goal
Mm.
is to get to a point where we're so dominant and create enough chances that even if we get fucked over, which we will at some point, not because of
Exactly.
conspiracy,
We
just because
can't
they're
let the
shit.
referees' incompetence be a
Yeah.
factor in the game. We have to do everything ourselves. So when they do their incompetence, that it's
There's
done
wiggle
for
room
like
for
this.
errors. Yeah. But yeah, I
So I
think
found
that's
it. It is
I'll
who I
go.
thought. I just want to say. So I'll put it in the chat for you all. So yeah. So last year in February, March, around the same bloody time as now, Lee Mason leaves the referee body PGMOL after VAR error. He will no longer officiate in the Premier League by mutual consent. His departure comes days after his mistake during Arsenal's 1-1 draw with Brentford. What's the news in August 2023? Lee Mason has been rehired by PGMOL to train referees on VAR.
No way. I
Yeah.
missed that.
So they sacked him last season for not drawing a line in a fucking
And
offside
now
goal
he's
check.
educating
And
everyone.
then he's the one educating the rest of the VAR operators on VAR, and he's training referees within 5 months of being sacked for being an incompetent one. So yeah, just
Jesus
like
Christ.
honestly, like just the thought of it, it makes my blood boil, guys. I don't know what you
Yeah.
feel in the chat, but like we say, let's not let referees get in the way.
I think this is the thing,
Maybe.
like it's not got to me as much, and I think it's because I'm so confident in how good we are. I think we will blow most teams away the rest of the season, and there'll be enough wiggle room for refereeing errors. It shouldn't be that case. You shouldn't need to be that good that like you allow for refereeing mistakes. But I think that's just how confident I am in this football team. Just before we wrap up, just say morning to Uncle Mike, who's obviously recovering from his surgery. Morning, lads. Hope you're good, Uncle. And final one from Bungle. Championship team fans get irate about Prem refs going down to them because they let games play. So used to VAR as a safety blanket for them.
That's the other thing. I think just the final thought, Bungle. That's a really good point. That's something that has pissed me off a lot about VAR. So I feel that there's this like kind of, I think it was someone said this. I don't know if it was Wenger or someone else, but essentially, you're in a situation now where the refs won't make on-field decisions because they're hoping VAR will watch it back and make the right call instead. But
Yeah.
then when they don't make the decision, VAR watches it back. And when it's inconclusive or complicated, they then just stick with the on-field decision, which was to do nothing.
Yeah.
So,
And that's
but that wasn't an active on-field decision. These refs are starting to fall into
they're
the safety blanket
re-refereeing the
Bungle's
game,
talking
yeah.
about. So actually, they're just like, oh, I'm just not going to make a decision.
You
Someone
see it
else
all
will
the
get
time,
involved.
even little things like offsides and any sort of indecisiveness that creeps in. They're just like, yeah, exactly what Bungle said. They're like, oh, VAR's there as a safety blanket. Like that's not how it should be used. Like again, for clear, like, oh fucking hell, I can't be asked to
You're
go
meant
down
to
this on a
referee
Friday
the
morning.
game, right? Yeah,
Like,
you're meant to
yeah,
referee the game, and then once you've refed it, like VAR's there for the clear and obvious errors, right? But and this is where the problem comes in. So the definition, there is no definition of clear and obvious.
yeah,
So they won't intervene even when it's clear and obvious that they should, because they're like, well, the on-field guy didn't give a red, so he saw it, he didn't give a red, we're not going to give a red. But if the on-field guy gave a red, they wouldn't overturn it because they'd be like, oh, it's not clear and obvious that he was wrong to give the red. So you end up in this gray area where decisions could go either way. And one of these, and somehow we're the only ones who get re-ref for this, and they've come out and said it was wrong already this season, it was a mistake, is penalty gets given for Havertz against Man United. Ref sees it and gives it. VAR says, no, there's no contact to the ref in
yeah.
the mic, and they cancel it. But there is contact from two different sides. So it's like, why is it that only we get these situations? Why is it that Martinelli gets 2 yellows and gets sent off in the same state of play, but we don't see that anytime else?
Like
Like,
I don't agree with the it's only us, but the Martinelli one is definitely like I still
that
don't
one is
think I've
only
seen
us.
that. Like I think I was with Lee at that game. It was like yeah, I'm sure I was with Lee at that game. And it, yeah, because I've been to Wolves away twice. One was with a guy called Chris, one was with Lee, and I can't remember which one it was. But yeah, it was just like what the fuck is going on, especially when you're in the ground. Like we're like, what the fuck?
It just makes no sense. And I know you say it's not just on us. It's not like I get that, but with that specific one, the Havertz penalty, like I remember them even saying on the commentary, they were like, "Oh yeah, like this can't be overturned because like if there's any contact in the replay below the bottom half of the body, then it has to stand as a penalty because you know even if it's soft, if there's contact under the fucking waist on the replay, then it's a penalty." That's what I mean. So like, and no other game. If you go back since VAR came in the Prem, you go find me a game where a penalty was given on field by the on-field ref, and VAR cancelled it despite visibly seeing contact
Yeah,
below the waist. I promise you, you will not find one. So I know you say it's not just us, but that boiled my blood because I remember at the time I really looked into it, and even the commentator was confused. Like they were like, "Wait a second, no one's ever done this." And then what happens? Lo
yeah.
and behold, VAR review later in the season, that comes
Apology
out as one of
FC.
the games. Yeah, that's where the official board reviewed it, and the official independent PGMO people were like, "Oh yeah, like they shouldn't have intervened there. That wasn't clear and obvious." I'm like, "Oh, is
Yeah,
it?" So,
yeah.
so just that's what pisses me off. Like they
No,
don't
rightly
make,
so.
they don't make decisions when they should, and then they make weird decisions when they shouldn't. I
Yeah.
just can't. But yeah,
Final
anyway,
one I want to bring up if you've got time before we get
yeah,
out of
yeah, I
here.
do, yeah.
Obviously, it's the fucking big game, right? Liverpool City. So I'll read
Mm,
out. I've asked for score predictions in the chat. I'll read some of them out while you formulate yours.
yeah.
I'm very interested in both what you think it will be and what you want. Uncle Mike said he thinks it will be 4-4, but he wants a 21 man brawl and a points deduction.
I
uh,
love it.
Bungle said score draw, Rodri red card suspended for the 3 games, including next game week. I agree. That would be very nice. And separate to that, Colm is in the chat saying hit the like people. So thanks a lot, mate. He's also said 1-1, pick your own goal scorers. I don't have a clue. So everyone's gone for score draws there. What do you think?
So what I want, I'll tell you, and then I'll tell you what
Okay,
I think
gone.
while I buy myself some time. So what I want is I want a very hard fought, knackering 2-2.
Same.
That's what I want. An entertaining 2-2, 4 goals, 2 in each half,
My
all the
prediction
way
will
down to
shock
the
you, by
wire.
the way.
Okay. So that's what I want, right? And what I also want is I want Rodri red card 100%.
Yeah.
Like 100. Rodri's just now created the Premier League record for the number of games in a row that he's not lost in. And it's like he's not lost in the 60,
It's like
70 games he's
60 or
played.
something, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And like no other Premier League players played like 60 games and not lost. So we know that when he was banned earlier in the season, City lost all the games in which he was banned, including the cup. So he is a key cog there. Like, yeah, please get the red card. Um, what do I think will actually happen though? So that's what I want, right?
Yeah.
Actually, one other thing is, if one of them was to win, I thought about this long and hard. I
Okay,
originally
yeah.
thought I wanted Liverpool to win because I wanted them to just kill off any sniff of blood that City get. Because I felt like if they win that, they're just going to go full throttle for the rest of the season. But now I'm actually thinking Liverpool fans have been getting so loud. Like I've always said, I would rather Liverpool win the league than City if we don't win the league. And I stand by that.
Yeah.
But I do think some of those fans need a little bit of a humbling, scraping through these results they've been getting. I'm sorry, but like the way they've been acting, if worse comes to worse, if Man City like batter them, I will take that all day long. And in terms of what I think will happen, I think City win like 3-4-0. What I want
Okay.
is 2-2. What I think will happen is I think City are going to knock them out the title race, mark my words. And I think that when we get into the run-in, Liverpool are not going to be in that title run-in. You heard it here first.
Well,
That's what I think will happen.
My prediction isn't going to shock you because I think the same.
No way. Are you serious? Something about Liverpool's style does not feel sustainable to
I
me.
think it's more like so on Liverpool. Like I think it's more, to be fair to them, like with the injuries they've got, I've actually been quite impressed by their ability to still put points on the board. And I know in the Forest game, you can argue about how the goal happened and stuff, but still, like 3 points. If that was us and we had that squad and we got a last minute winner, I'd be fucking shoving it down everyone's throat, if I'm being honest. So there's that. I just think, I know Salah's back, but even with the injuries, I think City are going to go there. And I know there's the general narrative that City don't do well when they go to Liverpool, right? But I think City are going to go there, completely dominate the game. I think Liverpool will do their best. And like, I think Liverpool will hurt them. I think they'll get in and kind of in central areas, they'll attack, get in behind the midfield and run at City's defense and really, really cause them pain. But I just think there'll be an element of control in sustained periods where Liverpool won't be able to get near City. I'm going 3-2 City, so I still think it'll be a goal fest. I think Liverpool will score
But
enough.
City will win
Sorry, I
enough.
think
Yeah, they'll
Liverpool
score
will
enough.
create enough to score a couple of goals, but I think City will just have too much quality. In terms of what I want a draw. I think a draw is the best way for both teams to drop points, and then it's in our control to go to City and potentially take a draw as a minimum. And I think we can win there, though. I don't think it'll be easy, obviously, but I do think we have the ability to go to City and win this year.
I looked at the next
But
6 Premier League games, right? And obviously City's one of them. And I looked at them and I thought to myself, like, there are 5 games that we can win there. So I wouldn't be crying if we drew at the Etihad and took 16 out of 18 points. I was like,
yeah,
like that
I'd
seems
take a
like a
draw
run
right
which we
now.
could
If
do.
you gave me a draw right now, I'd take it.
Yeah, like I just feel like obviously I know we want to win at the Etihad. We want to win at Anfield. These are places we want to go and win, right? But there are other games like these
Yeah.
single games. I know it feels like if Liverpool win this weekend, if we then lose to City, it feels like the title race is over, right? It just feels like the momentum's gone. But I think there's a few more twists and turns to come yet, and that's why we said let's do one game at a time, right? Because I think for us, it's all about putting the pressure on them. So
Yeah.
because we play first finally, instead of them constantly playing, winning, and then we're there on the Monday night, fucking trying to make sure we keep up because it's been such an entertaining, incredible title race. Like it has been like so far for me that one of the best title races I've seen in my recent
Yeah.
memory. the fact that there's actually 3 teams all above 60 points, all pushing for it with 11 games to go, that is exciting. So it's great for football. It's great for bringing new fans to the sport. It is honestly so much more fun.
I was chatting
But
to Bobby on WhatsApp. You know Bobby Love, like one of our regular
yeah,
listeners.
of course.
Shout out Bobby if you're listening back. But he made a good point. He's like, when do you remember 3 teams with the ability to put 85 points on the board at this stage of the season? Like all 3 of us will probably finish on 85 points or above. Like that's fucking insane.
But that's what scares me. So you look at the next 11 games, and honestly, it feels like all 3 teams can win every single game. They have the only losses I can see
I'm
any
not
of them
sure about that.
facing. But as in the only losses I can see them all facing is when we play each other. So like I see like the losses happening when like City, Liverpool, and Arsenal playing against each other. Like there's very few other games any of the 3 of us have, apart from maybe like say
I
Old
don't
Trafford
know.
away, Spurs
Yeah.
away. Like there's a few in there, but that's not many. That's only like
Annoyingly,
2-3 games.
Spurs are potentially going to have a big say in this title race because they played the 3 of us back
Yeah.
to back to back. Fucking
That
bastard.
is a mad run. I've seen that. But right now, City have the toughest run, right? So they play, I think, like the entire top 4 or top 5 in the league in their next 4 or
I
5
think
games.
ours is quite tough as well. Like,
But we're not
for
playing the
whole
top
season.
4 or 5, right? Like we're playing
Yeah.
like Brentford, who we just said are like bottom for XG conceded over the last 7. So like, but literally City play us, they play Villa, they play Liverpool. Like every team they play in the next 4 is in the top 4 of the table.
Yeah,
So they're like, if they don't lose points now, when will they?
I really hope Liverpool do slip up and fade away. Like you seem quite bullish that they will. I just think their fixture run is still, in air quotes, easy enough where they can
think it's the
still
best one.
win games with like the odd injury. But like Szoboszlai's back now, Darwin's back, Salah's back. So, but Kanate went off injured last night. So
Yeah, supposedly it's a
do you know what? I'm not
precaution,
gonna
but
lie. I don't want to be that guy that's like, oh, I hope it's not. I hope he's fucking injured. Like, you know,
look,
people are like, oh, I
put it
hope
this
it's not
way.
bad. Never wish injury on arrival. Fuck off, man. Make them all injured.
No, you know what it reminds me of? Last year in a
Saliba.
dead rubber Europa League game, a French centre-back got injured, muscle injury, and our season got derailed and the title challenge collapsed.
Yeah. But,
so I don't know if the same will happen to them. It sounds like it was just precautionary, I'll be honest. And Salah being back is a scary thought for any opponent. So I genuinely am scared of them. And I really don't want them to beat City because I think that's actually the worst thing that can happen. Because then they'll be so far ahead, it's out of our hands. City will then feel the game against us. It's must win, so they're going to be more up for it. It just the knock-on effects of Liverpool winning this weekend. It kind of almost makes me terrified.
Yeah,
it makes me terrified. But a draw or a City win, then I think we can get ourselves back into that.
Yeah, I think it's just a case of what Arteta says, what everyone says, what Uncle Mike says in the chat. Just do the business against Brentford. That's it. Just beat Brentford, focus on ourselves, and then take it from there. I think that's all we can do, really. But yeah, we'll leave it on that note, guys. Thanks a lot for joining in. It was a fun one. There was lots of people in, lots of chat and everything. So yeah, thanks a lot for joining. And if any of you guys are in and haven't done it, please drop the stream a like. As you always know, it helps us a lot. If you're new to this channel and you've liked some of what you've heard, please hit the subscribe button so you see future episodes. And if you're listening on podcast, please drop us a review. That helps us a lot in terms of podcasting rankings. Any more from you before we get out of here?
No, just thank you, everyone. We'll obviously see you for the review and just big week ahead for us. This Brentford game, the Sunday match against the 2 rivals, and then Porto on a Tuesday. It's like, honestly, I don't know how I'm going to feel about it in the middle of next week, but I'm like, I'm not nervous. I'm excited. Like I want it to be 5:30 p.m. Saturday right now.
Same.
I can't wait. Like I'm so excited. Like I said, it's the best running I've ever seen. Like just 3 teams going and they're all juggernauts, it feels like. So yeah, very exciting. And come on, boys, let's go do it. Let's make the dream happen. Let's get Nima his first tattoo when Arsenal win silverware at the end of the season. Last season, I couldn't get it. Will you join me? That's 3 of us now.
We'll do it together.
I want to get an Arsenal tattoo, but last season I said I'd only get it if we won the Prem, but we didn't. So now, if we win the Prem or Champions League, never say never, then there is definitely a tattoo coming out. My first ever one.
Hashtag let's get Nima inked. Up the fucking Arsenal.
Come on, up the Arsenal. Come on, you gunner.